Hello, and welcome back to the channel. By the time you are seeing this, Treasure Trove DreamSnap will have already been submitted and is currently probably being voted on, unless you're viewing this at a later time. Just wanted to go through how I created my build and show you what I submitted this week. As always, you can follow me over on the Dreamers portal to view my submissions and my results every week. If you'd like to follow it there, it's a quick, easy way to leave comments and react to them as well. So I'd love to have you over there also. I also post content on Instagram primarily for Disney as well. So if this content interests you, those are two places you can find my Disney content. As far as this goes, I was a little bit uninspired, I would say, because I recently have done a pirate theme. This first original pirate theme that I had done for Swashbuckle and Swagger was way back before Daisy was here, and I wanted to recreate that. So when we had Top It All Off, I felt inspired to do pirate theme and recreate this image for that with Daisy in her circus outfit. So I tore down my Moana build that I had over in that area and recreated the Swashbuckle and Swagger from scratch and submitted this recently. And then last week we had the Your Luck's look, which I did this with Scrooge. So I felt like I've kind of been gold out, and then to have Treasure Trove right after that, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to do the same things again. So I left, well, not that I purposely left it a couple weeks ago, but I left my pirate theme over on Skull Rock, but because this is a decor challenge, I wanted to max out the tags as much as I could, and that island does not allow you to get the junk pile that I like to do behind my builds in the photo to really do that. So I have a pretty empty space kind of to the left side of that, so that's where I am gonna be doing this build. And I included Eric this time, which is a little different. I haven't included him in any like pirate build before, so that's what we're working with. That was the idea I was going with, and let's take a look at how it all came together. Okay, so I cleaned it up a bit. This is the area that I was talking about. I wanted to use Eric's ship as more of a foreground. In my previous kind of pirate themed, it was kind of in the background. So I pulled it up on land and left a decent space behind it so that I could junk pile. And I don't know which one it was. I think recently the theme park snack bar. I completely did my build and completely forgot to leave space to junk pile behind my build, so I had to makeshift kind of junk piling behind what I had, and it just really wasn't conducive to a good experience with trying to get the tags. So I wanted to make sure that I did this first and foremost so that I didn't forget. So I am throwing mostly the high tag items first, and that's kind of how the filtering option works if you choose to use it instead of filtering it yourself. Is the ones that have the highest tags or the most tags are at the top, and then it dwindles down less and less tags as you go down the list. I try to incorporate bigger items and smaller items to kind of fill in the spots, and then if there are rugs, I place those underneath that as well. Tables, trying to utilize the space on the table as well, so you can kind of double up on the items that you can fit into the background. And I'm doing all this right now without looking at whether or not these things are visible. I'm just junk piling, and we will kind of take a look at it and see if it works and then tweak it from there. but I just wanted to try to fit down as many things as I could and see what I was working with in regards to the tags before I got into my build portion. And as I was going through this, if there were any items that I thought maybe I would want to use in the foreground of my design portion of the photo, then I would pull those to the front so that I didn't forget about them. So here I'm checking the tags. I could see that they're really high tags, which is great, but I could also see very quickly that there are a few items that were sticking out and visible, so I immediately moved those and started working on the build. So I knew kind of the frame that I wanted to work with. I wanted to include the back end of the ship, but I also wanted to include what was over on Skull Rock, even though you can't see it closely. I still wanted to have it in the background, so I was kind of using the palm tree on the far right hand side of the island as my base and kept going back to that angle to see if I was getting things in the shot. I don't want to do a lot of decorating that's not going to be visible in the shot, so I'm really condensing it into this area. And as I was looking at it, there's palm trees over on the valley, as not valley, the island, as well as around Skull Rock. So I wanted to pull some of that palm trees over to this side. And as such, I needed to move some things around because I needed space in my junk area for the palm trees. One thing I knew I wanted to do for sure was to crouch down. So I'm using Hey Hey as my companion, and I'm using this Cortez gold chest here to block Hey Hey, as well as to make it look like I was like rummaging through the coins or something along that effect. I'm using the pirates treasure here both ways so that you can see both sides of it and kind of framing that in the background and the foreground. And then Aladdin treasure piles, these coins, I use them throughout, and I add the large one in the background, some medium ones in the front, and then the smaller ones throughout, just to make sure there's lots of coins, lots of gold everywhere. And then I include some smaller, like, treasure like things or gold items throughout as well. And then gems. So one thing that I think really elevates treasure or um, pirates treasure is gems. So I love to put down gems in varying directions, and then I'm using glimmer actually behind the gems and around the area to give some extra sparkle. And this is pretty much the baseline of what I want my photo to be. And then at this moment, Eric was unfortunately asleep. So I just kept playing with where I wanted to stand, moving things around. And then later in the day, I would pick up Eric and, which is where we're at here, and get him in the photo. When I came back from my break and looked at it with fresh eyes, I noticed that the starlight projector was showing through, and it looked kind of odd just to have a little bit of purple there, so I moved it, added some additional items throughout that I didn't have already, and positioned Eric where I wanted him. I ended up using the turning red little tools to block him in to where he would do natural animations. I went a little after sunset and put a filter on this to get this background, and then just waited for my character to smile and for him to do an animation, and this is the photo that we ended up getting. I absolutely am not in love with it, but I don't think it's the worst thing ever. And I was kind of over it at this point. This was Tuesday morning and afternoon, and I just wanted to get it submitted. So we ended up submitting this, and it was a really high tag submission there. We had 130s or so on the tags, and I think that for the time that was invested in it, this was only like an hour or two of work to get this, and thankfully I was able to get him in an animation that looks nice, and I think it came out great. So I can't wait to see what all of you came up with and to vote today on these submissions. And then likely tomorrow we'll have the reset video outline what I got on our Your Lux Look DreamSnap, and that should do it for today. I hope you have a great rest of your night or day wherever you are, and that reset was nice to you today. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.